Well, g'day guys, and welcome to episode 6 of the Collateral Sports podcast. So good to have you with me. My name is Lockie, and tonight, Tracy Grimshaw.
I'll see you in 60 minutes when we get this right.
All right, this is my last go, then it's back to you.
I feel like I got it in the bag, so if you fumble, I got you.
Okay, go. Well, g'day guys, and welcome to episode 6 of the Collateral Sports podcast. So good to have you with us. My name is Lockie, and today I am joined by Wusty as we bring you all things happening in the world of sport. Today specifically, we'll be focusing on week 7 of the NFL, and then we'll be heading over to the NBA, where it's been quite a tumultuous first week of basketball, so there's plenty to break down, plenty to discuss. But Wusty, good to have you here, my friend. How you doing?
Yeah, fantastic, mate. What an absolute cracker of a first week NBA this has been. A lot of great games of NFL as well. I can't wait to dive straight into it, man.
Yeah, that's right. And that's, as we said, we are going to get started with the NFL. And we'll head over to the score sheets now as we looked at what's happened in week 7 in the NFL. And it's been nothing short of a crazy week in NFL. And this season's really shaping up to be one that has all different twists and turns that probably no one could have predicted.
Yeah, no, it's been an absolute cracker, mate. And starting straight off the bat, we had the Broncos versus the Cleveland Browns. No one really knew what to expect with this one, with Baker Mayfield being out, Case Keenum being him, getting his first start in a very long time. And look, he didn't disappoint. He didn't lose the game for him. He didn't do anything too crazy. Deandre Johnson looked absolutely fantastic. Man, you're going to be happy with the Browns. Third-string running back coming in and dropping 146 yards in a tutty. Just controlled the game entirely. Broncos never really in that one. Then after that one, we had the Carolina Panthers versus the New York Giants. We had the Giants taking this one 25-3, very comfortably. Yeah, definitely. Sam Darnold definitely has been retracting to the mean in his last couple of weeks. Definitely looking like he's still wearing that navy green for the New York Jets. Nothing fantastic out of him. Daniel Jones did enough to get it done. No Saquon Barkley, no problem. Giants roll through the Carolina Panthers. After that, we head to New England, where the Patriots defeated the New York Jets 54-13 in the highest Patriots scoring game in recent memory. You knew after last week and just losing that game to Dallas that Mac Jones was going to come out firing, and he did. 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had the running game going by Damian Harris again, absolutely fantastic. Made light work of the Jets as expected. Rather unexpectedly, however, we head to Tennessee, where Tennessee dismantles the Kansas City Chiefs 27-3. Oh my gosh. You know it's going really well when Derrick Henry throws a touchdown pass. Only rushed for 86 yards, which is like not the norm for him. Threw a touchdown pass for 5 yards, absolutely unreal. Everyone was eating today, no more than AJ Brown. However, 133 yards of 8 catches. Man, what is going on with the Chiefs, eh? That defense, usually it's the defense letting him down, but absolutely everything was against them today. Tennessee show out on the Kansas City Chiefs, moved to 5-2, as the Chiefs now fall to 3-4 with a lot of danger now of not even making the playoffs. Then we headed over to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where the Green Bay Packers take on the Washington football team, winning that one 24-10, taking it apart pretty easily. Not much to be surprised here about. Aaron Rodgers, another great game, 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, a very clean, nice win against the Washington football team. And then after that one, we had the battle of the lacklusters. Miami Dolphins take on Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons edge this one 30-28. Matt Ryan was phenomenal, but oh my God, Kyle Pitts really just proving everyone right why he was drafted so high. 7 catches, 163 yards. Absolute beast. Tua Tagovailoa back for the second week now. 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Didn't matter. Atlanta Hawks get this one, moved to 3-3. Miami looked to move to 1-6 with a lot of questions to be answered. After that one, we headed to Baltimore. And oh my God, man, who has seen this coming? I gave the Bengals a chance, but I did not see this. 41 for the Bengals, 17 for Baltimore. Joe Barrett, absolutely phenomenal. Threw for over 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Only had the 1 interception that come off a tip ball. Jamar Chase, who else do we look at for Offensive Rookie of the Year? We knew they were going to have the connection moving from LSU, and it was going to be special. But 200 yards of 8 catches for 1 touchdown. Absolutely incredible. Ravens just had no answers today. Lamar Jackson didn't exactly play awful. 250 yards, good game. Rushed for 88. So they hit their over 100 yards rushing once more. But they just had nothing for the Bengals, unfortunately, today, man. What was your takeaway from this one?
Yeah, look, it was an excellent showing from Joe Burrow, but it's probably a Baltimore Ravens side that we were probably expecting, or not probably, we were expecting a lot more from them in this matchup, and 41-17 doesn't look good, as now both teams end up on that 5-2 record, so things looking good for the Bengals, obviously. Playing quite well this season, only dropping the 2 games and coming away with the 5. But Lamar Jackson, he still had a pretty good game. Like, it's hard to argue with how Lamar Jackson's playing. He's having a great season. Obviously, 257 yards he's passed for, and he ran for 88. So, like, Lamar Jackson doing all he can for his team. But at the end of the day, the Bengals were just far too good, and it was after the second quarter at the change of the half. It was never really the Ravens' game anymore. It just really got away from them. They were only back 3 points at halftime, but after that, it was just all the way Bengals getting 4 touchdowns across the second half of the game. So look, it's rough for Baltimore. They will bounce back, but that one's going to hurt.
No, definitely. I feel like we kind of had to expect Baltimore to lose eventually. They had a lot of close games. They probably didn't deserve to win the Colts game. There was a couple others. But yeah, look, they had to lose eventually. Why not to the Bengals? I feel like this is more good Bengals than bad Baltimore. Baltimore will be fine. Bengals are absolutely scorching. And yeah, what an absolute turnaround just having that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase connection has made. Next game we got coming up is a game that'd be near and dear to you, mate, where we head to Los Angeles when the Rams take on the Detroit Lions. The Rams ended up taking this one 28-19, but not without a scare. Lions were actually up going into halftime, 17-16, and yeah, look, I had a field goal in the third quarter. It was looking really good, and it all come down to me for just bad Jared Goff. If you just looked at his stat sheets, other than the 2 interceptions to the 1 touchdown, for him at this point in his career, it wasn't that bad of his play. But there was a moment where it was 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and they were only down by 6. And it was a 2nd and 10. They're only like 30 yards out, and he just forces a ball off balance into triple coverage. And of course, who else is there other than Ramsey to pick it off? And then that was more or less the game at that point. The Deandre Swift is absolutely phenomenal. I've been saying this every week. I'm a massive Deandre Swift fan. He ran for 48 yards and then caught 96 worth and ran for a touchdown, 1 coming off a 40-yard run. He's been absolutely phenomenal. And my recipe for success for Detroit has been just keep the ball out of Goff's hands and put it in Deandre Swift's. But man, Detroit moved to 0-7. Rams get away just with this one, 6-1. Yeah, like you can obviously see the difference that Stafford Goff trade has made already. They could have given away the world to get rid of Goff and bring in Stafford, and it would 100% been worth it, mate. What did you take away from this one?
Yeah, look, just on that interception, of course it was an ordinary pass from the ex-Rams quarterback, but it was also some really good defense from Aaron Donald that forced that falling away that we saw. Right. And it just continues to highlight what a great season Aaron Donald's having so far on the defensive end. But same with Jalen Ramsey. Those two in particular have been so good defensively from the Rams. But look, yeah, it's Jared Goff really showing some of those issues that we saw him have with the Rams only a couple of seasons ago, which is bizarre because Jared Goff on a good day is up there with some of the best quarterbacks in the league, I would argue. But when it's not going right for Jared Goff, it's really not going right. And it just seems at the moment it's not going right more than it is going right. And the record for the Lions would accurately reflect that. Now falling to an 0-7 record in the league, it's looking tough and it's looking dire for the Lions. And we turn up here every week and we keep saying they're a better side than what their record's showing, but it's really hard to argue with that now after you can blame a couple of those losses on some tough luck and some unfortunate circumstances, but you can't blame all 7 on that, and that's where it's really coming unstuck for the Lions. But Matthew Stafford was great, passed for 334 yards. Darrell Henderson, he ran for 45, 15 carries. He had a big effort today. Not a lot of rushing from the Rams. That should be highlighted. Besides Darrell Henderson, there was only two other players that ran the ball, and those other 2 players only carried it 2 times each. So not a lot of rushing from the Rams, but it was a lot of the passing, which is what Matthew Stafford's generally good for, is setting up those passing plays. With Cooper Kupp having, again, another Rams player having a great season, receiving 10 receptions for 156 yards at an average of 15.5 yards per reception. That's good numbers, no matter which way you want to look at it. So look, good, all things happening pretty good in LA. Look, it should have been an easier win than what it was. That is for certain. So I think the Rams are far from out of the woods yet. That was a concerning one, but you're always going to get those games in the season that you should have probably made look easier or you should have won. And really, as you and I were talking today, this probably should have been the game that every good team, for some reason, loses. But the Rams come out on top, thankfully, but it was far from convincing. And I think they still have a lot of work to do if they're going to be any sort of contender for the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. You just got to just ask Cooper Kupp what quarterback he prefers. Matty Stafford has found an absolute connection from him, considering they've only been together for all of 9 weeks if you count the preseason, which they probably didn't get too many snaps in. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, exactly right. That there are going to be games every season for every team where they shouldn't win. And this one should have been for the Rams. What an absolute fantastic wake-up call it's going to be for them. You can't take anyone easy in the NFL because everyone in the NFL is great, except for Jared Goff. But man, yeah, Lions, man, when is the win going to come? At this point, I can't imagine what it'd be like in that locker room. Exactly like you said, you can't blame them all on bad circumstances. But the Baltimore game, for example, Justin Tucker had to break the record for longest field goal of 66 yards to win that one. It's just been an absolute season for the Detroit Lions. I don't know when and how it gets turned around. But yeah, Deandre Swift though, this is the only bright light I really have for him at this point. I don't know if there's a quarterback change coming. I don't know who else you can bring in a quarterback if there is anyone else. Yeah, man. Unlucky for the Lions. Hopefully they pick up. At least they're going to get a good draft pick, at least they can take that to the bank. That's something to look forward to. After that one, we do head to Las Vegas, where the Raiders take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Raiders get up 33-22. Raiders have been looking good the last 2 weeks. I don't expect anything more against a team like Philadelphia. Look, this one wasn't as close as it looked. It was really 30-7 going into the fourth quarter. And then once again, everyone takes a foot off the pedal and Jalen Hurts ends up looking better than he actually is. Not much more to say about this one. Raiders take care of the Philadelphia very easily. Speaking of taking care of teams very easily, we have Arizona where the Cardinals now move on to 7-0 after taking apart the Houston Texans 31-5. Kyler Murray, absolutely phenomenal again. Only thing you could fault him with is he did have a pick. They come off a tip pass once more, but 260 yards, 3 touchdowns. Very nicely done. Davis Mills has looked all right behind the O-line for the Houston Texans. Didn't really expect much out of him. Yeah, there's not much more to say about this other than, Cardinals moved to 7-0. And what do you reckon, mate? Do you reckon they have a chance to go undefeated this season? Or do you reckon they're going to get their wake-up call eventually?
I think there will be a game eventually. I'm not sure what their road ahead looks like for the Cardinals, but you can't. I think it's very unlikely that the Cards would go totally undefeated this season. I think they're a great side. I think Kyler Murray. Do you think it's an MVP season?
Oh, I said at the start of the season, before it even started, that this one should be. I think he does win MVP this season, especially if they have 2 losses and he keeps this up. He's definitely got his name in there, but obviously you got to look at players like Derrick Henry, for example, who just do absolutely everything for the team. I had him as my pick early on. I'm sticking with him. But yeah, Kyler Murray has just been an absolute MVP candidate this year.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at the Cardinals' road ahead. Next week they do take on your boys, the Green Bay Packers. Look, if Green Bay turn up, they're every shot of winning that game, but you'll need to turn up. And I think the issue is with Green Bay is the defense is not there for them right now. It's non-existent, and it's going to take some pretty good Aaron Rodgers magic to pretty much outscore the Cardinals. And we jokingly said the other day that it would take 50-plus points from Green Bay to win that game, and it is going to be a tough one for them to win. So look, then they're going to head to San Fran, and then they got the Panthers.
It's an easy run after the Packers. I'll give them that.
Yeah, so they do have to verse the Rams again. There's a couple of games there this season that they might lose. They got the Cowboys, they got the Rams, they got the Bears.
Yeah, at that point, they might have only lost 2 games. Packers going to have to score over 35 points in order to beat the Cardinals because with no Joey or Alexander, we have nothing in the secondary. So that game could go either way. But when you look at their schedule, the only games that they should really lose from this point, and of course they could lose more, would be maybe the Rams again. They do get a redemption, and then the Cowboys. I see maybe the Colts giving them some sort of drama, but other than that, Arizona have a very good chance of heading into this into the finals with only 2 losses, which would just be absolutely phenomenal.
I think it would almost take a week off from Kyler Murray injured or something to see the Cardinals go down a week.
It takes something like that for sure. They're absolutely rolling at the moment. JJ Watt, if you're just looking at the statistics, not like his MVP seasons, of course, but what he brings to that team, and especially that defense and leadership and charisma, is just absolutely worth every penny that you paid to get him. Yeah, man. Like Kyler has the weapons to definitely take away the MVP this season for sure.
If it's not Kyler Murray, who's your early pick for MVP? Obviously, we're coming into week 8 now.
Yeah, we're hitting around about the middle point of the season for sure. Look, if it's not Kyler Murray, to me, it's probably got to be Derrick Henry. Tannehill is a good quarterback. He's definitely a serviceable quarterback. But what Derrick Henry does for that team is just absolutely phenomenal. Like you look at Kyler Murray, and he has all those weapons around him. Like they do have a nice defense, and Titans have a nice defense too. But Derrick Henry, like getting almost like 30 plus touches every single week in and out. I just don't know how you don't lean towards him for MVP. It's definitely a quarterback's award for sure. But if it's not Kyler for me, it's Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Derrick Henry or Kyler Murray are probably the front runners for that. I don't think there's many close other than that. But there are some standout performers. Like it's been such a great NFL season so far as we start to, I guess you said, approach that halfway mark. This NFL season has been nothing short of unpredictable every single week. Every time you think things are pretty predictable, there'll be a game there that just blows your mind, like record-breaking field goals. It's been an awesome season. I'm really looking forward to see how this second half plays out, especially when injuries probably start to come in a bit more of the mix. Could definitely take some unexpected twists and turns, but I think as far as the ladder, it's starting to take some shape towards what it's going to look like at the end of the season.
Yeah, look, we definitely pretty much know what every team is and what they are going to be at this point of the season. Dak Prescott does probably deserve an honorable mention in there as well. He's been phenomenal. Josh Allen has looked really great too. But as far as like what a player does for the entire team, I do like Derrick Henry, and he would be the challenger for Kyler Murray. But speaking of fantastic seasons and potential MVPs, how about we head over to Tampa Bay, where the Buccaneers take care of the Chicago Bears, 38-3. Tom Brady, man, like just like an absolute fine wine. He is a Pinot Noir. 211 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. It's just way too easy for him out there. Can't take discredit. Obviously, Lenny Fournette, he ran for 81 yards and a tutty as well. Ronald Jones had it going as the 1-2 punch with 63 yards. Bears absolutely never in this one. Fields just had a rough day out there, man. 0 touchdowns, obviously 3 interceptions. Man, like there's not much more that needs to be said. No one expected Bears to win this game. The fact they're even 3-4 at this point is actually pretty impressive. But Tampa Bay move on 6-1. And yeah, absolutely steamrolling. I love watching this Buccaneers team play, man. What an absolute well-oiled machine. Next up, well, maybe we did have a little bit of an upset. We had San Francisco, obviously, going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis Colts take us 130-18. I had 49ers, you had Colts. Colts end up taking it on the day. I thought if Jimmy Garoppolo was going to play, San Francisco might have won this one. But after all, maybe they would have been better off with the other guy. Yeah, look. Not too much. Like Carson Wentz was serviceable, very accurate, 150 yards, only 2 touchdowns. But what was great for Carson Wentz is that he didn't turn the ball over. The defense was obviously humming. Jimmy Garoppolo, 181 yards, 1 touchdown. He turned the ball over twice, just on interceptions. Yeah, what was your opinion on this one, man?
I can't believe the 49ers lost. I did pick the Colts. I really did. But nothing short of surprising. Look, Jimmy Garoppolo... He was okay.
Yeah, I feel like do you think that it is like what is becoming of Jimmy Garoppolo at this point?
He's okay.
He's just okay. Like it doesn't feel like he's gonna do anything too amazing to win. Like when he not I was going to say when he was younger, but maybe a couple of injuries ago is probably the better time to put it. He could get some damage done with his legs. Obviously nothing like Trey Lance, but now these days he's just okay. Like there is worse quarterbacks, there's better quarterbacks. All right, how about this one? Because who would you take, Jimmy Garoppolo or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like, and that's kind of sad. Like, at least on his good day, I suppose Goff can like win you a game. But
I think Jimmy's best days are gone.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, obviously, because of his injuries. Definitely.
I think that Super Bowl was the one they had to win.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
I think he needed to win that for his career. If he was going to do it, that was the time to do it.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy's best years are behind him, and I think it's sad. But it's
being so young still.
Yeah, it's just the nature of the sport, and he just doesn't seem quite up to the scratch that we came to expect. Obviously, Jimmy went to the 49ers, and we were like, wow, this is incredible. Like, what's happening here?
For him,
yeah, it was amazing. We're like, is this the 49ers that are going to succeed? And they nearly probably reach the goal that they did reach the goal they were after almost, but
Yeah.
just fell short right at the end. So I can't see the 49ers winning a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo as their quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for him to ever get back, especially at this point. And then obviously he was the heir apparent to Tom Brady. This is the man that Bill Belichick had teed off to. That no, we don't need Tom anymore. We have Jimmy, and then the rest is history on that one, of course. But yeah, if you do remember that Super Bowl, 49ers were in it the whole way, and if it wasn't for the fact that Richard Sherman, who was still obviously playing corner for San Francisco at the time, it was just getting on. It just didn't have the speed anymore, and absolutely blew coverage. And Mahomes took one over the top to Tyreek Hill, and they got a touchdown to go up. Like, if it wasn't for that, then like San Francisco might actually be Super Bowl champions right now. And how different careers would it be with Patrick Mahomes without that Super Bowl and Jimmy Garoppolo with that Super Bowl right now? But if wishes were fishes, we would be in an ocean. But all we know for certain is that the Colts took down San Francisco 30-18 today.
How crazy is it? How crazy is it the 49ers and Kansas City their teams aren't that much different from that Super Bowl game?
No, not
But they're
entirely.
both really struggling. Really struggling.
Yeah, struggle, 100% struggling. Yeah. And obviously no one really seen this coming. Like, we obviously knew the issues with Kansas City's defense and whatnot, but even Patrick Mahomes, who has looked absolutely immortal to this point, has been having a rough season. And 49ers, people definitely expected more out of them. They're both not completely out of the playoff race, but man, it's quite alarming what a turn both those teams have made since that Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's right. It's sad times for the Super Bowl contendees. It's definitely not the season they would have been hoping for. But look, you can't always be in the mix. You can't always win the race. But look, it's both these teams probably should be doing better. But of course, the last game is, and that one's happening tomorrow morning for us. Monday night in the US, and that is going to be New Orleans. They're heading over to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. I don't know. I think it's going to be a pretty lackluster game.
Yeah, look, this one's an absolute crapshoot. No Russell Wilson still, unless it's like a last minute. I know he was getting a pin removed from his index finger, which was like snapped in half damn near by Aaron Donald on when he was trying to batten down a pass attempt. But look, Saints, they're either explosive or just the entire polar opposite. You never really know what you're going to get. Winslow could honestly throw for like 5 touchdowns, or he could throw for 5 interceptions. It's going to be hard for Seahawks to win this one, especially with their quarterback situation as is. I made a personal rule not to bet on New Orleans Saints games earlier on the season, but give me the Saints. Give me the Saints by. I'm actually going to go by at least 10 points on this one, I reckon.
To New Orleans?
Yeah, give me the Saints by 10.
Yeah, okay. Look, I think I think even in the NBA or the NFL, it's a rough time trying to pick the New Orleans team. They're so unpredictable, both those teams actually. Look, yeah, give me New Orleans. But for no other reason except I think the Seahawks are going to struggle just without Russell Wilson. But I think that's about where the buck stops. But mentioning the New Orleans Pelicans, let's head over to the NBA, and what a wacky week it's been in week 1, as there's been nothing short of surprises, twists, turns, and the whole kit and caboodle go down, as obviously we did do that special episode with the opening nights. I think out of all those picks, you ended up coming out on top by 1. I had a rough day.
I had
a rough day picking.
First night. Yeah, you beat me on the first night. You had 9 of 11, if I remember correctly, and I had 8 of 11. But then the next day, it was obviously just 3 games, and you laughed at me for picking the Atlanta Hawks, and you laughed at me for picking Miami, but they ended up coming out on top. We both obviously had Golden State to lose that next game against the Clippers, but they ended up winning it. So I'll take the victory royale for our first couple episodes. And I look forward to wrapping up this week and then getting into some more predictions, hopefully.
To be fair, Miami played exactly how I thought they would. And I want to highlight this game. They played exactly how I thought they were going to against Milwaukee, but against Indiana, falling to the Pacers. Yeah, that was an interesting one after they came out firing against Milwaukee.
Yeah, it looked unreal.
But what I do want to highlight is Tyler Herro came out in the preseason, and he said he thinks he deserves to be in the same conversation as Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, Trae Young, those sort of guys. And I laughed at him. I thought, that is a ludicrous statement. You're a bench player. Like, you're a bench playing guard. I'm like, you're a bench playing guard. There's nothing wrong with him. Like, he's a good player. But I'm like, you're a bench playing guard, and you've up until this point, you've played nowhere near the quality of any of those guys. And I think
Definitely, yeah.
I think it's fine if you come out and say those things. It's another thing if you're actually going to back them up. And man, has he backed them up.
Yeah, no, he's been absolutely phenomenal his first couple of games, eh? Like, can't take it away from him. Even in the loss to Indiana, which was a very close one at that, another 30 points and 10 rebounds. He's been phenomenal. I'm a very bright spot. I just like you. I laughed and rolled my eyes when he came out and claimed that should be mentioned in those types of conversations. But he is definitely forcing his way in there. Yeah, not much more news you said about Tyler Hero. He's been phenomenal. Can he keep it up? Will he keep it up? Who knows? I look forward to seeing it. If he can keep it up, then Miami are definitely going to be looking very crisp to push for top 4, maybe even top 3 for the Eastern Conference standings. But yeah, Tyler Hero has been phenomenal.
Yeah, and my next team I want to talk about is the New York Knicks. They've started the season 2-1, so only dropped the one game. They've been playing quite well. Like Julius Randle has every year is getting better and better and better and better. And we saw glimpses of it at the Lakers a few years ago, but it seems like the Lakers curse breaks off everyone as soon as they leave and they start playing like better players. Like Kuzma's playing better this season at Washington. Randall's playing incredible. Ingram played better when he went to New Orleans. Same with Lonzo. Lonzo's playing well at the Bulls. Like
triple-double. We just mucked around.
Yeah, but like the New York Knicks, it's the team of unlikely heroes, really, isn't it?
It is. It's an odd one, the Knicks. I think I do have them picked to become top 8, finish in the top 8. And I've had a good start to the season. I obviously dropped this one against Orlando today, I think it was. But yeah, to your point, man, Julius Randle, what has he done? He's had 35 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. Back that up with 21 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Back that up again today with 30 points, 16 rebounds, 3 assists. Getting blocks in all these games, shooting well from the 3. He's just been an absolute revelation for the Knicks. And once you look at after Julius Randle, is the next best player Derrick Rose. Like at this point, like obviously Mitch Robinson is fantastic on the defensive end, and he's going to do what he does. But where even though I've got him picked to finish in the top 8, like where else is the scoring coming from? Because it's pretty much going to have to be D Rose and RJ Barrett. Is RJ Barrett what it is at this point, or do you think there's any improvement that's going to come?
Well, that was actually going to be my next question: is what's happening with RJ Barrett? Is he worth? Obviously, this is his second or third season now.
Third.
Yikes! This is his third season. Okay, that's all right. So that's even. So today he shot 29% from the field,
which is a pretty par on the course for him. What he's been so far in his career.
And this is what we're used to from RJ. He jacked up 17 shots and only banged 5 of them. 7 of those coming from the 3-point line and only hitting 1 of them.
Yeah.
There's a cause for concern with RJ Barrett, and I don't think his home's going to be in New York for much longer. I hate to say. I don't know what's going to happen to RJ Barrett, but I just don't think it's working. At least as a starting role, it's not working for him. But who do you start at that small forward position if it's not going to be him?
No one. They have no one. They have Evan Fournier, I guess. Look, the Kevin Knox experiment, I feel like he's been on an even shorter leash than RJ Barrett was. At least RJ Barrett, you can kind of see some potential. They were so sold on Kevin Knox, and he has just been absolutely woeful. Emmanuel quickly is nice off the bench for him, but he's either going or he's not. And so today, unfortunately, he was not going. Look, they're still playing Taj Gibson. Like, what are we doing, man? Like,
how long's Taj Gibson been around?
No, who knows? Like, it feels like forever. Like, man, what was he on? I think he was on the Bulls with Butler and them. Like, back in the day, like, Chicago Bulls. And, well, he's just been on every team that, the name eludes me, the former coach for Timberwolves and now the Knicks coach. He's just been on every single team that he's pretty much coached for him. So he's probably going to be there until he's like 40, I imagine. But it's going to take Evan Fournier balling out, which you can't really expect from him at this point in his career. Obi Toppin is another draft pick. So, like, we've gone from RJ Barrett, and we draft Obi Toppin. Nothing's really happening with either of these two dudes. Obviously, their careers aren't over yet. There's still room. But, man, they've missed on some draft picks. It feels like the only good draft pick they really made in recent memory was Porzingis, and they ended up trading him away for peanuts.
Yeah, well, I mean, even Porzingis hasn't been that great since...
No, exactly, yeah.
But, like, if you look at RJ Barrett and you look at him at Duke, he wasn't really there for his shooting. And...
Yeah, correct.
Would you say that RJ Barrett was only made to look good because he had Zion Williams in the past 2 all day long at Duke?
Yeah, well, that was the problem. That was the issue that people had with Cam Reddish as well. Is like you don't know. Like Cam Reddish was the third wheel in that tricycle. Like I like if RJ Barrett could get his like field goal percentage in check, like he's a good enough defender. But yeah, like he definitely looked a lot better. Like everyone looks better. If you're an NBA talent playing against players who aren't NBA talents and they don't get drafted, obviously you're going to look phenomenal, and it's going to be a lot easier with a player like Zion Williamson. But they do have Julius Randle. Like it's not like he is expected to be the 1A in this whole situation. I don't know if he just needs to get out of New York, but just like in Duke, he's not expected to be the number one like scoring option on the team. And yeah, the struggles do continue. So I feel like if an improvement's going to come, it's going to have to come in a change of scenery. I don't know what you get from him at this point because he's not playing great. But they don't, like you said, they have no other options. Like who else are you going to play at that 2-3 spot?
Where do you think would be a good home for RJ Barrett to end up if he does get traded?
With somewhere like Orlando,
Yeah.
somewhere where like there's no like you're in the New York, like you're in the Mecca. Like it's not like New York have been great since the Patrick Ewing days, and even then they didn't win a chip. But like there is a demand. It's the same as the Giants. The Giants aren't a great team, but when you're in New York, there is an expectation and a certain standard that people just like that is associated with.
You
New
have
York
to be
teams.
great.
The light is bright, and it's the exact same with LA Lakers. Like if you're in Los Angeles, that light is very very bright, and you're expected to compete for a championship every single year, and you're expected to be the absolute best. So it's probably going to take like hell. If Atlanta could get in for dirt, like we've got a lot of nice like 2-3 spots, but if he needs to get out of New York, it obviously can't go to LA. They won't take him. So like maybe like a team like Orlando, not Miami, the Houston Rockets. He needs to go to another team where there's just young players and he can try and get some of his confidence back. Maybe he does need to be the number one guy. Maybe like he'll just shine better as the number one, but it's just definitely not happening in New York. But we're spending a lot of time talking about the losing team in today's game. How about Cole Anthony for the Orlando Magic?
Yeah,
Definitely getting a lot
absolutely.
more minutes with Markel Fultz out. But 29 points, 16 rebounds, 8 assists. Who's seen this coming?
What's gonna happen to our little friend when he does come back from injury and he's gonna come up against a firing Cole Anthony?
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Fultz, and I feel so bad for him because
He just started to find
before
form.
he got injured. Yeah, before he got injured last season, it was phenomenal. And now you're going to come back into a team where, like, well, I guess they could like try and bench Jalen Suggs over you because he's a rookie, but you probably want him out there as much as humanly possible. You've obviously got Cole Anthony, who if he's putting up performances like this, it's going to be hard to sit down. There's still RJ Hampton there, but he'll be ahead of RJ obviously in the depth chart. But there is so many like young guards on this team. Like Gary Harris is another young guard. Like Terrence Ross is coming off the bench. It's going to be hard for Markel Fultz to find his way back into the starting lineup, unless he's going to come off the bench. But like, yeah, it's going to be very, very hard for him. I do feel bad for him because he's finally starting to find form. He's finally starting to find a shot again. And now Cole Anthony has just been absolutely firing.
Yeah, it's I don't know what's going to happen to Markel Fultz when he does come back, and it's such a shame because he might end up being the bench player, to be honest with you. But it's going to depend how Cole Anthony plays.
I don't think it's sustainable from Cole Anthony.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so either. I think it was against a Knicks side that probably didn't show out like they should have. So that's probably something to be noted. But Mo Bamba played well, so that's good. I'm happy for Mo. Like he's one of those players that you just kind of always wish he does well, but doesn't always necessarily do so. But let's not get caught up on too much on the Orlando Magic as they'll keep ticking along on their season. They're 1-2, and Knicks are now 2-1. But let's go over to another team that's 1-2, and that's my Lakers. And boy, is there some dramas happening over there.
Oh, what an absolute mess. They could very well be 0-3 at this point of the season, which, well, especially for the lofty expectations that even us two, but especially the world had placed on the Lakers for this. Like, obviously, everyone knew that there was going to be some issues, some teething issues, especially with Russell Westbrook. We've hummed on it before, so we don't need to go back on to like why they didn't play him in the preseason together. But like, man, they could easily be 0-3 right now, and it'd come down to a Yamarant missed free throw to not force the game to overtime today, and they could have dropped to Memphis too. Man, are you on a scale of 1 to 10, mate? How worried are you right now for the LA Lakers? Considering it is early, it's only 3 games in, but an honest prediction of how worried you are right now.
I don't think the concerns not with the team's ability to score. It's what I said. I think that's what I only said last week. In that in that opening night special show is it's the concern of the Lakers' ability to defend. And it's evident that it's not there. You know, it's notable that Russell Westbrook doesn't play defense. It's very obvious that LeBron doesn't play defense. Like, who's there? Dwight and AD, who are punching on the bench?
Yeah, well,
they're our two biggest defenders. I guess we brought Ariza in for defense. We brought who else did we bring in? What's his name?
Brought Avery Bradley.
We brought in Avery Bradley off waivers.
No one else wanted him.
We brought it off waivers. We brought Avery Bradley in for defense. Like, things are looking grim on the defensive end, and I think there's going to need to be some trades this season if we're going to get any better as a team. I just don't think this roster is the roster. I think this will go on. These struggles will happen for a little bit longer, and management will soon realize that this is not going to work.
Well, they've definitely dug themselves in the hole because other than like potentially moving Russell Westbrook, which if the Lakers are going to give up on Russell Westbrook like a month into it, like I do not know what the return is going to be. Like you could have got more of a return with the Kyle Kuzma trade by bringing in someone like Buddy Hield. At this point, like I don't really know what you get for Russell Westbrook. Look, Carmelo Anthony had 28 points off the bench tonight, and it took every single one of those points to drag out a win against Memphis.
It was classic Carmelo. That's good.
It was classic Carmelo, and it's fantastic to see, but that is not sustainable. You're not going to get that every night from Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony is not coming out every night shooting 66% from the field, banging 10 out of 15 shots.
Even from 3. He missed 2. He was 6 from 8 from 3. He was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get that every single night. So I don't know. And there's better teams than Memphis. I like Memphis, but there is better teams than Memphis in the West. So it's obviously early. Like, you didn't give me a number out of 10 on how worried you were. I noticed you danced around that one. But, man, obviously it's early. You don't want to go ringing any alarm bells just yet. But
tell you what my alarm bell is. A struggling Lakers side on defense, amplified by 17 turnovers.
Yeah, and that is obviously another story.
Nine of those came from Russell Westbrook.
And we knew that was going to happen. So when you can't stop the other team, and you can't stop giving the ball to the other team, it's going to be very, very hard to beat the other team. They got very lucky tonight. They played really well. Carmelo played really well. But, yeah, man, like, you're not stopping anybody. Ja Morant, 40 points, 3 rebounds, 10 assists, which is having his absolute way with him. And it's nice to see Jaren Jackson Jr. actually staying on the floor, praying for a healthy season for him. I've got him on my fantasy team. Absolute 3-point assassin. It gets in a couple of blocks a game. Fantastic. It's good to see Steven Adams doing well.
Yeah.
How about the tail of the tape I'm feeling? Like, so you've obviously got Anthony Davis and LeBron James and Russell Westbrook, all great rebounders. You also have DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard, still great rebounders. It feels like they're getting out-rebounded a lot and more often than not against every single team they've played so far this season. Like, I thought for anything, the rebounding should be fine. Just today's game, for example, Memphis 49 rebounds to Lakers 36. You have all these prolific rebounders on the stat sheet, and they are getting destroyed on the glass night in and night out. And it's funny that you just, like, if we can detour like a little tiny bit, like you said, look at Kyle Kuzma, and he's had a couple like 15 rebound games. Like, that might be come in handy. Like, that potentially might have helped. Like, I thought they would do better on the glass this year. So definitely the turnovers, the defense, and not getting the ball when you do miss these shots. And they are missing the shots. You got to get some of these possessions back. It's going to be very hard for them if they're not getting any of those 3 things. Like, that's an absolute recipe for L's. And so the fact that they didn't get one today is absolutely shocking.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a season that's probably not going to turn out how a lot of Lakers fans potentially thought it was going to be. I think there's a lot of struggle ahead before it gets better. I think we'll make playoffs. Don't get me wrong. I think we'll make playoffs, but I don't think it will go much further than that. Unless there's some drastic changes, you can only get so far with playing bad defense.
Yeah, unless they absolutely have a revelation of Russell Westbrook and it all starts clicking, which I do call me crazy, but I do for some reason think it is all going to work out at one point. But how and why it happens, I got no idea. But speaking of things that are absolutely surprising, how about we direct our attention to Brooklyn, mate? And end up seeing the score for this one.
Yeah, look, Brooklyn falling to Charlotte by a lot. Nearly 20 nearly 20 points. Man, Miles Bridges, 32 points. What a showing from him. Like, even Kevin Durant had to drop 38 points this game, and they still lost. Gordon Hayward, he was very average. But
it was. Yeah, a lot of players were like, and this should have been a game that Brooklyn won handily, but they didn't.
Like, look, if I go through the stat sheet here, Gordon Hayward 8 points, shooting 36%. Oubre Jr. 30%, shooting 4 from 13. Like, there wasn't a lot doing. LaMelo Ball, he's having a great start to the season, mind you. 18 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. But it was the Miles Bridges show today. Go 32, 9, 2, and 2 steals and a block, mind you, and shooting above 50%. Man had a fantastic time and shot 91% from the free throw line, only missing the one. It took Kevin Durant to shoot 38 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal, shooting at 70%, mind you.
70% from the field, and they lose this game. Like,
And it was a loss. How does Kevin Durant, like, you could argue there was a lot of questions around whether Kevin Durant was going to be the same Kevin Durant when he came back from that ACL injury, or the Achilles injury. It's hard to argue that he's not the same Kevin Durant. He's incredible. This man he's one of the greatest basketball players we'll see as far as just a shooter. He is incredible. Like, to move that big frame around and shoot the ball like he does is nothing short of incredible. But at the end of the day, it was just the rest of the Brooklyn team that really let him down. Like, James Harden was the only other player on double digits.
Barely at that. Like,
And he got 15 points, shooting 37% from the field. So look, it was how does Kevin Durant shoot 70% from the field and then the team averages just a tick under 44% from the field?
It's phenomenal, and I feel like this was going to be the story for the season. It was like, how much are they going to be missing Kyrie Irving?
A lot.
And the answer is a lot. No, yeah, the answer is definitively a lot. Because as nice as like the team's names, like the players' names do look on paper, like they really did need that third superstar there. And you shouldn't need 3 superstars to beat the Charlotte Hornets in recent history anyway. But man, LaMelo Ball is absolutely getting it done. But unless James Harden's going to give you 30 points to go along with Kevin Durant's 30 points, it's going to be very, very hard for them to beat a lot of teams this season. They're going to run away with a lot of games against poorer teams, and Joe Harris will do well, LaMarcus Aldridge will do well, and then Blake Griffins will do well. But against adversity, well, they're now 1-2 for the season. Like, very, very early on, these games won't matter too much all in the scheme of things, and a lot of people do still have Brooklyn taking care of the East, or at least coming second in the East. But Charlotte Hornets are in the East as well, man, and they moved to 3-0. Yeah, like, I don't know what you do have to do to try and get Kyrie Irving back, but it's time to like do whatever you need to do. Either try and get anything for him at this point.
Can I entertain you with this one?
Shoot.
Patty Thrills, 2 and 10 from the field today.
It was due to happen, but like, you can't expect Patty Mills to bang like 10 threes every game.
No.
Like, what did he start off with in his first game? It was like 7 from 7 from 3 or something. That's like
right,
that.
Yeah.
It's not something that's going to happen like every single game.
But let me go through the field goal percentages here. Joe Harris 50%. He shot 3 from 6. Then it's
should have shot more.
Then it's 33%. That's 14%. Then it's 37%. Then it's 20%. There's 33%. 33%. It was a battling Brooklyn net side, and you're right. It should not take 3 superstars. James Harden has to be better.
Yeah, look,
I'm sorry. He has to be better.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Do you think James Harden's going to struggle not having the free reign he had at Houston? Like, Houston was his team. He could do whatever he wanted, and no one would bat an eye. Do you think he's going to struggle now that he's not the number 1 option?
Well, I feel like a lot of people did have that question when he first moved over. And then after the success of Brooklyn last year, and without stretches of all 3 of those players playing, everyone kind of just put that whole argument to rest. And they were like, oh, well, clearly he doesn't. Like, clearly it's fine. But when you look at games like this...
Honeymoon period's over, though.
That again. Yeah, it does raise it back up again. But, look, all in all, we could just chalk this one up as, like, Brooklyn had an off night and Charlotte Hornets played out of their
Can you at 1 and 2?
What was that?
Can you at a 1 and 2 record? They've lost more than they've won.
Yeah, it is early, and well, who they lose to? Who was their other loss? Was the Bucks. So, which a lot of people do have taking obviously the top of the East. I think you predicted the Bucks would win. I actually took Brooklyn. So yeah, Brooklyn's had a bit different of a start than I predicted, but yeah, look, you can easily chalk this one up to just off night for Brooklyn, and Miles Bridges probably is going to have a game like this too many more times, at least this season. Look, off night for Brooklyn, I guess. Hornets on. It could just be that, or it could be a larger thing. We're going to need a bit bigger of a sample size. Once again, before we start ringing the alarm bells. At this point of the season, though, who do you reckon finishes higher for wins and losses between Brooklyn and Lakers?
Brooklyn.
Yeah, so I'm not ringing any alarm bells just yet. Like, it should be fine. They're in the East. There's no danger
The East
whatsoever
is
not making
easy.
the playoffs. Yeah. Well, I was having this discussion the other day actually. The third seed to like the 8th seed is like an absolute mess. Like whoever can win that game is just going to come down to it.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, like I'm happy to chalk this one up to. It's just like an off night for Brooklyn and Charlotte just playing phenomenally. But whether or not it's going to be a theme, we're going to need to see a little bit more from them, I think.
Yeah, well, let me cast your eyes back over to the Western Conference where we saw Golden State. They're now off to a 3-0 start. Obviously taking down Sacramento, so no shocks there. But it is 3-0 start. Wiggins played beautifully, which was nice to see. The Maple Mamba turning up and playing. Draymond was great. Kevon Looney, good. Jordan Poole again. So that's now a couple games for Jordan Poole so far this season. They've been very good. So look, he's having a good start to his season. I'm happy to see Jordan Poole playing good. I like him. I think he's a good player. He's just not going to get the time once Clay's back. So that's an unfortunate reality for him. But Steph Curry, man, nearly another triple-double. Had a rough shooting night, but as Steph does, he went to the free throw line. But he shot 39% from the field and still got 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 10 assists.
It's phenomenal. Like when it's all said and done, like where are we actually putting Curry in the top 10 of all time? Because night in, night out, he just puts on these exact same performances. He is incredible. Like you said, it's against the Kings, so probably not going to invest too much into this one. They finished the fourth quarter very strongly to take this one out, where it did look a little bit choppy there at points. But yeah, man, Curry is absolutely phenomenal. Jordan Poole has looked great. A lot of people, like I said last week, I believe it was, a lot of people did see this Jordan Poole revelation coming. And he shouldn't struggle for too many minutes, but it will be coming off the bench, of course. Andrew Wiggins provides too much defense for him when he is starting. Draymond Green. If Draymond Green gets over 10 points, you got a pretty good chance of winning that game because all those other stats are going to show for it. They're going to speak for themselves. Like, yeah, look, can't complain. Golden State Warriors did phenomenally. Harrison Barnes has had an absolute start to the year, though. What is going on over there? I do not know.
He's getting paid enough that he should be.
Yeah, well, 100% correctly. It's about time he started earning that contract. I think he started off this year, 36 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Followed that up by 25 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists. And then obviously against Golden State Warriors today, he had 24 points and 7 rebounds. 5 from 10 from 3. Absolute revelation. If he can keep his 3-point shooting out, which I don't think he can, then yeah, Kings are looking a lot better than I predicted at the start. But man, like Davion Mitchell, you got to be happy with their rookie. Put locking up and actually scoring for the first time really well. Buddy Hield had an off night. If Buddy Hield plays better, maybe this game turns out differently.
Rashawn Holmes?
Yeah, Rashawn Holmes. Rashawn Holmes has definitely inherited that starting center role, definitely. 16 points, 11 rebounds, gets 2 blocks this game, and usually gets a couple more than that every other game. No Marvin Bagley as well today, so maybe that has a different effect on it. But man, yeah, I don't know. What do we expect out of Sacramento with 3 games in? Are we changing our predictions?
I still don't expect a lot.
Yeah, no, you're probably not too wrong.
They always look like a better side without Bagley though, which is funny, but
yeah, which is really odd because they're not, but they do look like it. So yeah, it's an odd one.
Do you think
Golden State Warriors? Yeah.
Do you think Draymond's one of the best defenders in the league?
Pound for pound, height for height. Like, what is he? He's probably like all of 6'7". I can't imagine he's too much more than that.
He is. I don't know how to. Oh, hang on. He is.
Yeah. Probably like 6-ish almost. Yeah. Yeah, well, what he can do too, like the other teams, like he can guard a lot bigger than he is. He's quick enough that he can keep moving around. He's 31 years old this year, and he doesn't really lost a step on the defensive side. The biggest thing with Draymond has always just been if his scoring can keep up with his defense. And like today it did. So they took care of Kings pretty handily. Golden State Warriors starting 3-0 is an awesome way to kick it off. I did have them taking the West, so looking pretty good there in that department. But yeah, obviously super early in the season, but it's always good to see Golden State have this great of a season at the start without even Klay Thompson back yet. So what an absolute menace this team is going to be once they do get him back.
Yeah, look, I'm happy with where Golden State are at, and I think they'll be happy with where they're at, especially as you said, playing without Klay. So things looking good for Golden State. I think it's well and truly within reach that they'll probably they could take out the West. But remains to be seen, of course, as of yet. But let's cast our mind just towards a couple of games coming up this week as we start to try and wrap up this week of the sports podcast. And that is, let's just go with tomorrow's games. Boston v Charlotte.
We going on the record again for our tips, mate?
Yeah, we'll go on the record. I'm taking Charlotte.
You're taking Charlotte? I like Charlotte have played like the better team, definitely. Give me Boston, just because obviously Miles Bridges was phenomenal. Every time the team like has an absolute like phenomenal game, where it's like a non-star is absolutely showed out. They typically like lost the very next game. So for no other reason other than that, if Jaylen Brown's playing, give me Boston, just so we can be different, just kick it off.
Yeah, and then Milwaukee heading over to Indiana.
Give me the Indiana Pacers. I reckon they're the dark horse of the East, man. I really do like the Indiana Pacers, and I reckon I reckon they beat the Bucks.
Give me Milwaukee. I don't think they're going to play like they did again against Miami.
Probably not wrong.
Give me Atlanta to beat Detroit.
Oh, no surprise there. Yeah, Atlanta, easy.
Washington v Brooklyn.
Do we know if Beal's playing?
I'm not sure, but if Beal plays, give me the Nets anyway, but by a very narrow margin. I just don't think they'll convincingly win.
Yeah, I'll take Brooklyn. Even if Beal does play, obviously they'll need a bounce back game after the last one. Look for James Harden to probably go for 40. Honestly, Washington have looked better. They've looked pretty good this year. Obviously, a 2-0 record says so. But yeah, give me Brooklyn to give Washington the first loss of the season.
Then Orlando heading across Florida to Miami. Give me Miami on this one. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't too much more needs to go into that one. Miami looking really good. Give me Miami as well.
Yeah, and then it's the 3-0 Bulls heading to the 1-2 Toronto Raptors. Man, give me Chicago. I like the Chicago side this year. They're fun. They're a fun team to watch. That's what I like about them.
Chicago moved to 4-0. What an absolute unit they have been. It's usually kind of hard when you bring together a whole new set starting like lineup essentially, and they have just looked seamless while doing it. Chicago moved to 4-0 quite comfortably against Toronto. I think it's what like Chicago have become this team this season. I think a lot of people love because they are fun to watch. They are really fun, especially with Lonzo Ball. Like he looks like he's having fun again out there. Obviously, like we mentioned before, he had a triple double. It's a really nice team. Like who doesn't love these players? Like I don't know anyone who doesn't like Vukovic. Like DeMar DeRozan. Like everyone really feels like he's deserved more than he's gotten so far. And Zach LaVine, like who doesn't like Zach LaVine? Like Patrick Williams, what another great young player. Like, yeah, I really like Chicago Bulls this year. Yeah, that's right. And then it's New Orleans heading to Minnesota. The 0-3 New Orleans Pelicans heading to the 2-0 Minnesota Timberwolves. I actually like Timberwolves to go 3-0 here. Timberwolves go 3-0 for probably the first time since they were a team. Yeah, give me Minnesota. Yeah, and then Cleveland heading over to Denver. Give me Denver. Cleveland Cavaliers get their second win of the season against Denver and move them to 2-1. Probably one of their only wins of the season if they win this tomorrow. They beat Atlanta. Yeah. Portland heading over to LA to the Staples Center to take on the Clippers. I like Portland. I really do. Clippers 0-2. Haven't looked really good. Give me Portland. Nurkic back has looked absolutely phenomenal. The mini Splash Bros look great. Clippers go 0-3, I reckon, I guess. Yeah. All right. And then we'll do the day after as well. There's only 5 games. We'll do Wednesday. Yeah. Philly heading over to the MSG to take on the Knicks. I like the Knicks. I really do. But I do say this. Philly are playing well. I think they're using the drive of having no Ben Simmons to their advantage. And they're playing well. But I think the Knicks, Julius Randle is playing so good. It's crazy. Yeah, well, it's funny that we were talking about this earlier, and we are like, where else does the scoring come from? On any given night, anyone can really do it. Tough one. I have Embiid and Julius Randle on my fantasy team, so I'm kind of torn. But Steph Curry can't do that again. Give me the Knicks as well. Yeah. Then the Warriors heading over to OKC. I think this will be an easy one for the Warriors. 4-0. Yeah. Then Houston heading to Dallas. This could be a tricky one, but I'll have to. Houston look better than predicted. Hey? Yeah, they're playing a lot better than what everyone thought. I actually think you said Houston were going to be better than what a lot of people said on. I think on the podcast you said Houston were going to be better than what a lot of people are saying, and they have not been awful. No, I don't know how much I believed it at the time, but I'm starting to become a believer. Like they are looking really good. Yeah, that's right. Green has looked phenomenal. Obviously, they got Christian Wood. Kevin Porter Jr. It was all about how Kevin Porter Jr. was going to integrate with the rookie, and it's looking really seamless at the moment. Give me the Rockets against the Dallas Mavericks. Go on. I'll take Houston. Yeah. Give me
Yeah, give me Dallas just to keep it different. But yeah, I think I like Dallas anyway. I think bit of a Luka Doncic special maybe.
I would say so. Probably goes for like at least a 30-point triple double.
Yeah. Then Lakers heading to San Antonio, the battle of the 1 and 2s.
You first.
Give me Lakers to go second in a row. Hopefully they use that win today as a bit of confidence, but it wasn't. There shouldn't be much behind it. It was an average win.
Yeah, I wouldn't say too much confidence heading into it, but a win nonetheless and confidence nonetheless. Look, I just don't think the Spurs, they just don't have the players that they would need to beat someone like the Lakers. Even a struggling Lakers side of that, you just can't look at both these rosters and tell me the Spurs stand any chance. Whether they do or not, who knows? But yeah, I'm ready to be heard again. I'll pick the Lakers as well.
Yeah, and then Denver heading to Utah. Could be an interesting game. Utah are 2-0, and so are Denver. So both teams off to good starts. Who have you got?
Utah. I think Utah moved 3-0. I already picked against Denver at the start of this one, so I think Denver moved to 2-2. Yeah, Utah look great. Even with Donovan Mitchell struggling the other game against OKC, I think it was, they still end up getting the dub. Utah are just a little bit too good, I think.
I think it's going to be a good outing from Denver. I think they might actually show out this game and get themselves across the line. But it's going to take some good firing across the board from Denver to get the job done. Utah are just so good across, like they're good offensively and defensively. I think that's what's good about. I don't think they're blitzing in either end, but they're above average on both ends. So I think that's what works for them. Whereas a lot of teams really favor one or the other. But Utah is just one of those teams that just grind out a win.
Yeah,
and
Michael Porter Jr. has struggled a little bit so far to start off the season. It's only a couple games, I know, but he's been struggling, like, nonetheless.
Chase your losses, mate. You'll get there.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, well, we'll wrap it up there. Again, I want to thank you for tuning in to episode 6 of the Collateral Sports Podcast. On behalf of myself, Wusty, I want to thank you for tuning in. And this episode is brought to you by the new Collateral Kanji shirts. Wusty, give us a look, mate. Can you show us the back, mate? Go on, turn around, show us the back.
I'll show you the back, mate. And it's got a nice little Collateral logo on the back of that one, mate.
Look at that. You can pick yours up from collateralesports.com. Head over to the merch tab and you'll be able to pick up yourself a Collateral Kanji shirt. Maybe if you're there, why don't you pick yourself up a jersey too? And